Welcome to a beautiful Wednesday morning in Western Denmark. I want to talk about request stops for a second. When you want to board a train, you generally think it's gonna stop at your platform. It's not like the train is like a bus, only stopping at stations where passengers are visible on the platform. Often that's not viable for trains because their break and startup lengths are so widely different. That's why every country in some capacity allows for select stations to be request stops, where you have to do a certain thing that lets the driver know in advance that someone is on the platform and would like to board the train. In England, trains are generally slower. That means that it's viable to just wave your arm at the driver while he passes the station, and he's able to stop for you. That's not the case for Denmark. Here you will often find a button just like this one. It will change the physical aspect of a signal to let the driver know that you're waiting by the platform. I have actually met several tourists confused by the train just soon past them as they wanted to board it. And for good reason as well. Because these buttons are always poorly advertised and often only in my native language of Danish. So I feel like making this video is very important. Hi, my name is Ulrik and I am Connect Denmark. My channel is all about public transit and to break the borders between nations when it comes to public transportation. I'm a firm believer of the train, and here on the channel I'd like more tourists to try and take the chance and use the local transport services. This way you'll see more of the country you're in and get a better experience. And I try to use this medium to try and convey to you why and how. This video will primarily focus on this one railway in Denmark, but I plan to make other videos about the subject and make other videos about other important subjects around the country and about public transportation. There are 566 stations in Denmark. That is a lot. And 80 of them are local railways, like this one, in West Denmark. This is Vestbanen, the Western Railway. It starts in Denmark's fifth biggest city, Esbjerg, and passes through Varde and ends up in Nørrebro. It's a very touristy area of Denmark, and if you're German, you probably know of some of the tourist destinations down here. The tourist capital of Denmark is by far Copenhagen, but right next to that we have Nationalpark Vadehavet. It's massive. The easiest way to get around the UNESCO World Heritage Site is by train. Vestbanen is literally following the entire national park bottom to top. Most stops here are request stops though. That's the subject of this video. Let me add the request stops to this map we already have here. This is all the request stops we have on this line, marked by blue. Here you have to signal to the driver of the train that you want to board the train. And you also have to signal inside the train that you want to deboard it. So there's a red button inside the trains that you actually have to press in order to step off the train. That's very common in almost every country that has this system. But here you also have to press a button on the platform itself. But the question is, why would you want to use the train as a tourist anyway? Blåvand is one of the biggest summer home cities in Denmark. An entire city, almost entirely of summer homes, which is just small cabins that any tourist can rent for a period of time and stay in. And Oksbøl is the most popular tourist destination in the area. Here we have several museums in the area reflecting the history and especially around World War II. Esbjerg, however, is Denmark's epicenter for tourists and the iconic Esbjerg water tower and harbor. So being able to grab the train and see and even a bus to go actually see these places is extremely decent. As a tourist, you want to get around and see as much as possible. You have a limited amount of time here. So the train is ideal for making trips like this. This line is operated by the Danish rail operator Arriva Train. It's actually British, but a department of the service runs the trains here on Vestbanen. It's also accompanied by Deutsche Bahn, so it also operates some lines in Germany, but mostly in England and Denmark. The buses here are operated by Sydtrafik, which is an entirely Danish bus operator that operates most bus services around West Denmark like this. And Denmark is actually parted up in like 4 regions. and Sydtrafik is the southern bus traffic operator. Unfortunately, when you want to pay for a bus fare, the best way to do that as a tourist would be inside the bus by the driver. A fare from, let's say, Oksbøl to Blåvand or vice versa is about 32 Danish crowns. I want to really quick touch on how you actually get from Blåvand to Esbjerg, because most tourists will go that route. If you are a tourist in the area, you most likely live in one of the summer homes out in Blåvand and want to see the Esbjerg city. You can actually do that without ever taking your car, and most tourists don't want that because they would need to use GPS and get around like that, and in the train you will be able to see the scenery and see the area better and get a better feel of where you're at. So the way to actually do that is to grab a bus 140 from Blåvand to Oksbøl, and then grab the train from Oksbøl to Esbjerg. The fares of this is about 50 to 55 Danish crowns. Personally, I think fares should be uniform and easier to understand by tourists. I want to encourage everyone to use our public transport system more, and especially when possible. I always encourage tourists and natives to take the bus or the train if they can, and to leave the car behind, because when you do that, you will actually see more of the country and experience people and experience the area better. And I am a firm advocate of the train as a public transportation system. Even the light rail, like we have Letbanen in Aarhus, and we are opening new lines all the time. So I might do a video on that in the future. But let me know if there's any other line that you'd like me to go over, if you know any, and I'll try to see if I can make it a reality. I also keep an eye out on a future video on the Danish Rejsekort, which is a great system, but most people actually don't know how it works. So I'll try to go over what it is, how it works, and how to get a hold of a car if you're a tourist. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope, of course, that you was entertained by this video. And I am new to English YouTube. I had a Danish YouTube channel for a while, a gaming YouTube channel called AnviFox, and I'm trying to do this as a form of new content. I want to expand my horizon a little bit. If you like what you see, please consider making a subscribe. Press the notification bell for any future upload I put out there, and remember to like the video. I will find it much appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.